Hello and welcome to our number talk. Today we are looking at the expression 24 plus 57. What we do in a number talk is we use mental math. That means no paper, no pencil to try to solve an expression, and then we look at all the different strategies we could have used together. So before we go any further, let's go ahead and do that. Go ahead and pause the video, work out 24 plus 57 in your head. When you have your solution, unpause the video, and we will come up with all of our strategies together. So the first thing that you could have done is to make tens using the associative property. So we look at our two addends and we look to see, well, how far away are those addends from that next 10? So let's look at our 24, and we'll see our 24 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 6 away from the next 10. It's pretty far away from the next 10. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 6 from my 57, and I want to add that together with my 24. So this is what it looks like. I've got my 24 and I'm going to keep that the same. I'm going to break up my 57 into two parts. First, that 6 that I need to add to the 24 to get up to that 30, and then whatever's left over, which is 5 tens and a 1, that's 51. So I've now reimagined my 57 as a 6 plus 51. The associative property lets me regroup these addends. You need 3 or more addends in order to use the associative property. I've got 3 of them now, and I'm just going to regroup them. So I add my 24 and 6 first, because that's what I've got pictured here. 6 and 24. That's going to get me that 30 that I was looking for. And then all that's left over is the 51 that's left from my original 57. So 30 and 51. Hopefully you have 81 in your head, because that is our answer. Now, we can also use friendly numbers. So friendly numbers takes a look to see, are there some numbers that are easier for us to add sitting inside of these larger numbers? And those friendly numbers typically end with a 5 or a 0. So I've got a 20 right there. I want to break up my 24 into a 20. That's going to leave 4 left over. And my 57, I want to grab this 55, because that's pretty close to it. And that's just going to give me a few left over. That's just 2 more. So 57 is now 55 plus 2. So I want to regroup these using my associative property so I can add my 2 friendly numbers, and that's going to be my 20 and 55. But in order to do that, I also need to put them in a new order because they're not next to each other. So that's my commutative property. My commutative property is the order property. It lets me switch up the order of addends. 5 plus 8 is the same as 8 plus 5. So I'm going to change up the order of these addends and regroup them so I can do my 20 and 55 first. That is the 75 that I was looking for my 2 friendly numbers. And then what's left over are just the leftovers. That 4 plus 2, that's going to give me 6. So if I add up my 75 plus 6, that gets me back up to my same answer of 81. We can also use the associative and the commutative property to use place value, and many of you are familiar with this. You break up your 24 and your 57 into expanded form. 20 plus 4, 50 plus 7, and then we just take the tens. Let's grab the tens first, and so we're going to use the commutative and the associative property to reorder them and regroup them. I want to get my 20 and 50 together. And then I've just got my 1s left over, my 4 and my 7. So now I've got 2 different groups in different orders here. 20 and 50 is 70. 4 and 7 is a basic fact 11. And guess what I get? Back up to my 81. Adding up in chunks is similar to place value. The only difference is we're going to keep our first addend intact. So 24 plus 57. And as you can see, the 24 is all taken together. I'm going to split up my 57 into a 50 and a 7 using place value, just like we did on the place value strategy. And then I'm just going to use my associative property because I want to add the 24 and the 50 first. I'll grab the 7 in a second. So 24 and 50 is 74. That's easy. Still need to regroup a little bit to get my 74 plus 7, but that is going to get me back up to my same answer that we've been getting the entire video of 81. Now, The final strategy is a fun one. It is compensation, and it actually gives you two new numbers. So we look at our add-ins and we see which one is closest to the next 10, and it's actually this 57. Look, I'm only 3 away to get up to 60. So let's do it. Let's take 3 away from 24, and that's going to give me a 21. I'm going to add these 3 over. I can't just throw them away, but we need to add them back into the other add-end. So I have a balanced expression because I have a plus 3 minus 3. But now I have 21 and 60. Look how easy that is to add. There's no regrouping necessary. I'm going to get back up to my 81 a different way. So those are all the strategies I can think of to add up 24 plus 57. If you have another strategy you can think of, that's wonderful. Go ahead and add that as a comment on the video. Teachers, if you would like a copy of this slide deck for your own use in the classroom, you can find it on my website, 5minutemath.net.